my team, I mistakenly thought the last case was our last case. That must have been wishful thinking. But happy to explore another learning team discussion with you guys. This one is really our last one. We're almost there. It's exciting. Tomorrow, I'm happy for you to take the lead on this, and thanks for already getting the ball rolling. Sorry I didn't respond yesterday. We've got a little bit more time on this one, so just busy at work. But I have listened to your video and Laura's video and also your other comments, and just going to throw a few things out there. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So I think one thing, you both have described the problem and with this case with the measles very well. So I'll just say that the one thing I wonder is, they're saying that in public places, people under 18, if they have not been vaccinated, that they should not be there. And actually, I remember seeing this on the news a few weeks ago and kind of yelling at the TV in a way with this case, because I thought, let's think about the feasibility there. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to do, but when we're talking about feasibility of unvaccinated people under 18 being at public places, how do you know that someone has not been vaccinated? I mean, you can't look at someone, and I can look at Laura and say, oh yeah, I can tell you haven't had the MMR vaccination. That's not something that you recognize. So I just think the feasibility of that regulation, how do you regulate that? How do you control that? Because you're not going to be able just to see that. So I think the fines of people who are not vaccinated, that one is a little more feasible, because you can go in records and see whether someone has been vaccinated or not. But obviously, I feel like if that's going to take place, it should be the parents' responsibility for their children to be vaccinated, obviously not the children themselves. But anyway, so I just remember seeing that on the news, and I just wanted to bring that up about the feasibility of that particular mandate. So I can kind of see where, I don't know, to me that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because I'm just not sure how you would regulate that. There is a ton of quantitative data in this, and it is pretty amazing. And every time I look at the news, I'm kind of check the news pretty often during the day. I'm at the computer all day, and so I'm kind of always checking in. And even yesterday, there was an article on ABC News about this. So it's continuing, talking about 300% more cases of measles, than ever before. And even on the news the other night, there was a map showing that, I think in the article that we read, said 19 states had been affected. I believe that's right, by measles. But I feel like that's even more than, 19 states. But I think it's even more than that at this point. So in this, because I think the article she had was maybe a week old or so. But anyway, so it's pretty a major health issue for sure. Let's see, Tamara, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I was going to answer your question about if it's right to quarantine those unvaccinated people who have been exposed to a person with measles for 21 days, which is the incubation period. I think so. I really do, because so that is feasible to me, because you would know who those people are, and they should be. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think it's similar to, I work in healthcare and on the administrative side, but I'm a part of a lot of decisions and hear a lot about things in our healthcare organization. And a lot of it is about, when you have the flu, stay home. Or if you see someone that has signs of the flu, you got to stay home. And we even have a special absence policy. So if you don't have the time to take, you are still able to take that time and not be penalized for it, because the spread of the flu is not good and could even lead to death potentially. So another thing I want to bring up, I know I'm running the clock, but is this kind of reminds me of the flu. This is what I was thinking of as I'm looking at this. In my organization, we have to get the flu shot. We don't have a choice. kind of makes me think about this. So there is an exemption, a religious exemption. So there's a form that you fill out, and then that has to be approved. But if you don't really have an exemption, which I'm not sure if this Jewish law, it doesn't say that you don't have to be, or that there's anything really wrong with the vaccination. So I'm not sure if that would count or not. But if you're not vaccinated, you just don't want to take it, or you think you have misconceptions about it, then you don't have a job. Like, there's a deadline for you to get the vaccination. It's made available. It's free on site. And even, I'm not in patient care related, but I still have to take it. And if I don't get a flu shot by a certain date every year, then my job is terminated. What if I don't have an exemption, and you have to have documentation from, your pastor or someone, if you really feel that it's against your religion. So I just wonder in this case if the onus could be on the parents, if there's some, something with their job or some kind of effect toward the parents, that if this doesn't happen for your child, if your child is not vaccinated, then you're penalized, in some way, maybe with a fine, or maybe it affects your job in some way. So anyway, just a few thoughts to throw out there. Happy and look forward to the discussion over the next few days.